Greetings everyone. Today I would like to continue my random talk about the random stuff. Recently I was a little bit, how to say, confused, or this wasn't in a very good mood to make a video, because when you think about certain stuff deeply, you end up how to say, there's no way out, something like that. So this video is how to say, one short video. I'm going to decorate this tree. If I'm like stuck in my talk, I will be quiet and will be decorating the tree, and when the things come to my mind that I wanted to talk about will come, I will start talking. So what I'm talking about, this previously I talked about this some wealth, rich person, etc., etc. So here in Mongolia there is a saying that rich person will be gone within one snow disaster. A great hero will be gone within one shot of an arrow. In the case of a hero, you can understand that during the battle, hero can be shot down. But in the case of a rich man, you cannot understand this word, because 1 year or 2 years snow disaster is nothing for a rich person, because traditionally rich person is viewed the greatest rich person is viewed as a this man of wisdom. So no snow disaster, or this can influence his this smartness, IQ, something like that. My idea is that if you lost your livestock, and if you are smart, you have savings, savings, and you bring that money to the other side of Mongolia and buy sheep, goats and camels, whatever you want. The idea is that this here in Mongolia, when there is a snow disaster, it's not everywhere. It's usually a few hammocks, and the rest is being like okay. It's always been like this. I mean, there was no how to say, ice age during our lifetime. Maybe there was a big ice age during like Hunnic time, when whole world was a little bit cold. Maybe in the 13th century, when the climate was this okay here, the rest of the world was a little bit cold, etc., etc. So so one can say like that. But I have also this how to say, a bad feeling about this claim, because one can claim that this smartness or this wealth is something to do with the genetics. I mean, if the parents were this smart, the children should become this smart. But in our family, my father is like this good smart person. His brother became a driver. During the communism, driver was a this good job. It was one of those so-called exotic, not exotic, one of the this complicated jobs where you learn basically everything. You learn how to open the motor. You learn how to fix the car when it's stuck in the countryside, etc., etc. So driver was this highly specialized job. Of course, now I have a driver license, but I do not know nothing about fixing the motor. So I don't know why he became drunk. He had no children, and he basically wasted his life. So it's like this. Not everyone is having a good luck in this world. So this rich, smart person's childrens can be basically very stupid and dumb, and they this maybe addicted to this spending a lot. So one almost can say that there is a free will in this world, or this the chances are this differ, etc., etc. So basically, what the hell I'm like this decorating this tree. So I just wanted to see how it's going to look like in my way. So decorating this New Year tree is of course come from this Communism, and comes from Russians. So it seems even during the Communism, people cannot this leave certain these traditions. These traditions, etc., etc., may be this from religious this origin, or etc., etc., but simply people do not abandon certain stuff, and simply some meanings can be like lost, but you still do it, something like that. So my question was this: what kind of meaning do these shiny balls may this represent? This if it's this fruits on tree, maybe they represent water, plants, and animals. There should be like green, red, and blue, etc., etc. But some balls have stars on them. This fruit with the star. What can it be like? Or there is some image of a Santa or a village in a distant Europe, etc., etc. So speaking of this New Year and Europe, it's kind of sad, this to hear that there is still this problem of this immigrant man is constantly trying to this rape the local this woman, something like that. So personally, I find the people who this carry the sign "immigrants welcome" is very this strange, because I guess you people do not have this some traditional this all this or historical this warnings about the foreigners. One can say it's like the man from a this near. For me, it's Asians. Man from a distance. For me, it's white people, black people, white man, black man, or Hispanics. This their inner desire to consume and to have is the same as the air we breathe. So you cannot this say that this, oh, this man is white, so he is okay, he is like a good person, or this dude is this has a color of the skin, so he must be like good and well person, something like that. You cannot, this judge people using, this skin color. But you can be sure on one thing, that they might be bad, evil, wicked, whatever, these bad things, this you can think about, these foreigners. We usually poison our children from the very beginning, that you do not say, if you meet strangers, please talk with them, please be compassionate with them, please give them food and money, etc., etc. We do not teach our children like that. We usually say, strangers are dangerous, do not talk with these strangers, something like that. So you can find the strangers, within even your, this, how to say, mono-ethnic society. But think about, this, how to say, immigrant workers. They should be more, this strange, maybe some of you may, this watching this will say that I'm a hypocrite. This you don't know about this stuff in this, etc., etc. Of course, I do not know about this stuff, because here in Mongolia, there's always, this unemployed young men. So we have plenty of young men who is unemployed and who is trying to somehow this make money, etc., etc. So it seems you people have a lot of this, how to say, workplace, like immigrants, please welcome. If you had such this plentiness in your country, I guess you will you can say such a stuff. These immigrants come, etc., etc. And a year ago, maybe recently, our this Ulaambaatar city governor say that this soon Ulaambaatar will be a country, this city where this people from all over the place will be walking in the streets, something like that. So this is very this basically stupid idea. What the hell we need all this these foreigners walking in our streets? Ulaambaatar is like big wasteland. There's not much. It's kind of hard to find a decent job. It's kind of hard to live, and I guess you saw this news and documentaries where it's even hard to breathe here. This nomads from other countrysides all here. Everyone is in a gear district, and everyone is burning coal, and it's very how to say, air quality is very low during winter. So it's a stupid idea that you try to make this Ulaambaatar into a how do you say it, metropolitan city. It's there has to be something like this, maybe port, or maybe this fashion or cultural, or maybe even this religious reasons to make your city this open for all kinds of this foreigners. So I guess this idea is stupid idea, and same time it's unreal. So where I was, decorating. Let me see how it looks on the camera. Well, definitely it's not this shiny. It's like a future is not shiny. One can decorate, this one's tree with something like this. I guess it's endless knot. I mean, there can be completely foreign stuff like a Christmas tree or New Year tree, and it's completely decorated with this foreign stuff like these glass balls and Santa, all this stuff. There can be this at least like maybe 10-20% something this Mongolian something this traditional and stuff. Recently, when these visitors come to this someone's this apartment, and when they see this tree, some people have this tendency to leave money for a kid, for a child, this money and stuff. Personally, I do not like this money giving thing during New Year. It's basically a Chinese habit. Some Mongolians having a Chinese habit to give money during New Year for their these children, grandchildren, etc., etc. Grandparents are giving money, etc., etc. Personally, I find it this sad. This money should make you happy. No. The hug, kiss, or this good food will going to make you happy. This obviously this this meeting your great grandparents should be a happy event. They must not this give you money. You already given them life. Why? What the hell? You also this giving this cash. Seriously, cold cash during Lunar or during New Year, it's stupidity, and it's this bad habit. Of course, it's a Chinese habit, so who cares? Well, where I was, from near it looks good, but on camera it doesn't look this shiny as I expected. I have these rings, so I would like to focus your attention on one video in the description below, talking about this so-called endangered or this small these ethnic groups here in Mongolia. It's usually these reindeer people, Tsaatan, and it's usually these Kazakh nomads. I guess Kazakh nomads does not count as endangered people. It's usually this Tsaatan. But you can be sure that they are doing very well. Yeah. For example, in the case of Kazakh, Turkey supports them. When a Kazakh, this boy wants to study in Turkey, he is welcomed. He is given like education money, free housing, etc., etc. So they are basically promoted. In the case of this Tsaatan, they have this how to say blood or this language relationship with the Towa. So basically Tsaatans are Towa, and they also this benefit from it. And when this Tsaatan child wants to get education, Towa this receives them and this teach them Russian, etc., etc. So these boots, these this deer hide boots are very popular here in Mongolia, and these are quite expensive, very expensive, and So one can say that these small, so-called endangered, these small ethnic groups are doing quite well here in Mongolia. There can be, this blame on, this communism. Because I was born during communism, because communism was the reason why I am here. Like, my grandfather stopped being a lama, and he, this had to find a job, and went to, this, this having, this my father, something like that, and their story is like, how to say, a little bit, this interesting. Well, I have to finish my video here because someone is knocking my door, someone is ruining my privacy. Okay, somehow I have to finish what I was talking about. My grandmother's this father was a rich horse, how to say, herding man. So my grandfather was this looking after his horses, and this ran together with his daughter, which is my grandmother. So at the time, this Ulaambaatar was full of these opportunities. Ulaambaatar was this building itself. So these things were this went okay for my grandfather. But nowadays, when you when you have a girlfriend in the countryside and you decide to leave this life in the countryside and come to Ulaambaatar and find a job, etc., it's going to be suicidal. It's going to be hard. It's a different age. It's not a communism where everyone is guaranteed their work. So it's better to stay in the countryside and be a man who who create oil from a soil. So you have soil and you create oil from it. You plant, you have livestock or etc. I'm not talking about this going in these other countries for this black oil. This oil from a soil. So communism. So I usually find these good things about this communism because it made us think more openly about the outside world. We are not this focused in our inner things, like this Buddhism, that this you must not desire material stuff. Think about your future. So if you are thinking about your future, you have to work hard. You have to give some this money and or this education to your children, so that your children will owe you something like that. So where I was, these small ethnic groups. It's kind of stupid to blame communism that they messed up with the small ethnic groups. Of course, you will notice that some group of people migrated to Mongolia from Russia. Maybe there was some kind of a misunderstanding, or maybe there was this pressure from the Russian communists on certain these tribe leaders. So this strong tribes leader decided to this get his people and this cross the border and into Mongolia, something like that. So this one can blame a small ethnic group this for the communism. It's usually Buryats. When this Buryats started to arrive here in Mongolia because of this Russian pressure, persecution, etc., etc. Also, some some questionable dudes this arrived with them. They spoke Russian. So the first people who Russians want to deal with are the people with the Russian speaking. So these Russian speaking people, Buryats, become enforcers of how to say, communism, and they even treated their fellow Buryats very badly. Like, why are you not in Russia? So you must be this traitor. You must be like this. So they ended up killing each other. They ended up killing this our nobleman. Our nobleman is like someone with a mustache and with the like this angry this look, and he is quite confident that he is the lord of this land. So he is like, you peasants have no right to judge me. I'm a nobleman, I'm a man of high origin. So these new lords, together with this outside influence, we must remove these old lords. We must remove the rich people, etc., etc. After all this, this chaotic maze of this history, the communists start to focus on little ethnic groups like, this child from a Kazakh family should go to Russia to this study in physics. Or this like Tsaatan child should go to this from countryside to Ulaambaatar to get educated in the high arts, etc., etc. So they were focusing on so-called small ethnic groups, poor ethnic groups, and try to this lift them up. And those who this built the country, like we call it the big bones, this big nation, was this somehow this neglected, or they were this basically, you should be like working people, something like that. Well, that's what I think. Well, that's pretty much for today, and thanks for watching.